Hey everybody, welcome to Candy Coated Conversations with your girl Candace here and joined by Tamika Heavy on the Scott. How you doing tonight, Tamika?
Hi, Candy. I'm good. How are you?
Oh girl, look, I'm dragging a little bit. I had to do some ripping and running after work. I'm just getting in the house. But here we are. Let me say hey to the early birders. Hey voracious one.
Hey,
Hey
everyone.
Sharon. Hey ladies. Hey ladies.
Hey,
I
Mrs.
think
Sharon.
I think I'm gonna pull up one little thing because I'm not gonna be on here too long tonight. But I'm gonna pull up one thing of let's see what's going on in trending topics. Make sure we really not missing out on anything before we jump into this topic today. What in
Hey,
the
Amazing.
America is going on? Who's coming in the dough?
We got
Amazingly me.
Amazingly Meek. We got Miss Bat.
Hey, amazingly me. Hey, Babs, how you ladies doing today? Put it in the chat if y'all having a good day. Let's see.
Hey, Sweet Gold Digger.
Who's coming in? Who's coming in?
Gold Digger just knocked at the door.
Hey, Gold Digger, pushing the door. Come on in. Hey, Gold Butter,
Hey, Gold
come on.
Butter.
Hey, ladies. Hey, ladies, get on in here
I'm
because we got to
loving it that everybody's on time.
because we have to watch. We have to talk about this. We look tonight is a political show. I'm not even seeing nothing that interesting that I want to talk about today. I think we could save that for tomorrow. Let's jump right on in things, y'all.
Hey, Sade Me. May.
Hey, Sade me. Look, good, Sharon. Sharon said, I always have a good day. Hello, ladies. Now,
Yes.
ladies, we got thrown for a loop yesterday. We got thrown for a loop yesterday in politics. And to be honest with you, I was really, this past weekend, I relaxed so heavy this past weekend, you guys, that when I got thrown this little loop, in politics, I couldn't even. I just said, you know what? I'm not ruining my day about this. I'm not getting in an outrage or nothing. I said, I'm just going to finish relaxing and look, I'll think about it on Monday. I will think about it on Monday. And I'm sure, as the world knows, you guys, our president has decided to step down and he removed his hat from the race. Now, for months now, they've been trying to beat Sleepy Joe down and tell him to get out the race and things like that. And I'm not saying that I'm opposed to it, but man, am I opposed to the timing. The timing could not have been worse because literally, if you really were going to consider this, I feel like Joe needed to take his hat out of the ring months ago. Months ago, you should have said that I'm not going to continue on in the race and I'm dropping out. That would have actually given, if he had done this months ago, you guys, it would have given us the opportunity to get another Democratic candidate in on the ticket. Now, at this stage of the game, how can we successfully do that? And the thing of it is, I'm going to be the first one to say, I'm not a Kamala Harris fan. Um, I'm not a Kamala Harris fan. I don't care what school she went to. I don't care what fraternity she was in. I'm not a Kamala Harris fan at all. And honestly, I really wish that we had someone else on the ticket. But the disservice that Joe has done us by pulling his name out now. Hey Coco, how you doing, lady? The
Hey,
disservice that he's
Coco
done,
Jerk.
yeah, the disservice that Joe Biden has done us now, the American people, supporters of his, who even through thick and thin, and the shit has gotten very thin as of late. Let's be for real, very thin as of late dealing with Joe, but still supporting him, saying like we're gonna support him. It's like we don't have time for anything. And look, let me get to this comment. Go Butter said, I agree. I feel like this was a setup. It seems like no one is running this country right now. To see this going on is so disrespectful. And that's exactly the way that I feel. I feel very disrespected by the Biden administration for waiting. So, whatever is going on with him this month, from what we've seen, was going on with him last month. It was going on him with him the month before. You get what I'm saying? And I think he owes it to the public to really tell us why you dropped out and what is going on with you health wise. I feel like us, the American public, I think that we have the right to know that. He is the president, you know. Um, if he's medically fit and sound to even be running the country still. If you're dropping out now, what does that say about the time that we have left with you, Joe? Now Coco says something. Coco says, was it a disservice or did they bully him off the ticket? No, because no one could have taken him off but him himself. So I think that you should have withstood it a little bit more. I don't know. Kamala's definitely gonna have her opportunity, but I'm not happy about it. She's not someone um that I would have willingly voted for. But I'll say this before we get to everybody else's opinion. I don't like being backed into a corner where I really don't have a choice. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most about the position that I feel we are now in. We have no choice but to support Kamala Harris because our only other choice is going to be Donald Trump. And the only way we can keep him out is to keep her in or to get her in. That's the only choice that we have, you guys. They left us with no other choices. Even if anybody tried to independently jump in the race or do anything of that nature, they made it to where it's going to be impossible to do. You guys know we go in November. It's the middle of July. So we really don't even have a choice but to either get behind her or just say Donald Trump's going to have it. Those that say that I'm not voting for, if you don't vote, that is a vote for Donald Trump. So just as long as you know that. I mean, as mad as I am about it, the woman will have my vote come November. Yes.
And I agree with Amazingly Meek. Yes.
Go ahead and read Meek's comment.
She said, honestly, he should have backed Kamala from the gate. He knew his health was failing, and no one wants to be bothered with the presidency. And I agree.
Yep.
Because he
I'm
knew that, like, from the beginning of when he had started his campaign, I believe that he knew that he was sick. Now, I also believe that he thought that he could finish it off, though. Like, he pushed himself and say, I could do it, I could do it.
What, what,
Until,
what were you going to finish it off and leave us with? A vegetable? Somebody that's literally sitting in a wheelchair and doesn't know where the hell they are? Is that
and
what
I
you were going to
think
leave
that's
us with?
why he dropped out and gave it to Kamala. I believe that's what the case was. Although they don't want to tell us that, but that's the only thing that it could be. Biden did not want to step down. That's what Coco said. Yeah, and that's why I said what I said. Like,
On up
I
and give
think,
your opinion, Coco. Anybody else? I pinned the link to the top. If you guys want to get on this, I just didn't want to let another day pass without talking on this because like we deep in it now. We're deep in it, and I know a lot. I know there are a lot of people that are feeling the same way that I feel. But it's like we don't have a choice. We have to back. We have to back her. We honestly don't even have a choice anymore. Hey Coco, what you think about all these shenanigans, girl?
Girl, I don't know, but I just listened to a very interesting video on Chris Como
Mm-hmm.
channel. And he had he was interviewing a guy that's like a huge donor.
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying that how he was a big Biden fan, but that he would not be endorsing um Kamala, and he said why. He went back to saying how she didn't do very well in the primary in her own state, and he doesn't think that she would do very well. But then he was also saying he was also leading to the fact that Nancy Pelosi was pulling the strings, and it wasn't really about saving the White House, that it was about saving the House of Representatives, her house, the house that she's in control of. Very interesting piece. You should play it.
No, I'm not playing nothing from Quiz Chrome. You play on your channel.
Okay.
You play.
No, I was actually gonna do a reaction. I was gonna do a reaction to it.
Uh-huh.
Because I just found it to be a very interesting piece, and it was like, wow, what if this whole move really wasn't about
Well,
saving the
I
White
wouldn't doubt
House?
it because that's always the end game. So when they start realizing, okay, a Republican that we're gonna have a Republican president, the
Mm-hmm.
Democrat, they get in action so they can take the House because
Right.
they have the president, we can't have them have the House too, and the Democrats do the same thing. Okay, we're gonna have a Republican president, we got to have a Democratic House. Um,
Right.
because that's the only thing that, like we talked about the other day, you guys. Really, it's all about your local government in the House, and who's in there. The president is a figurehead. They're a talking head.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone to put the country. Okay, this is the face of the country. They don't really. That's why, when we talked the other day, that's why a lot of people, Obama didn't do anything for us when he was in office, which I hate the whole quote unquote us comment, because usually that's coming from black people that act like the president is just supposed to do everything for black. The whole White House was supposed to be bliggity bliggity black, just because he's there, and just a bunch of ignorant mess, not
Yeah.
really even understanding how things work, you know but I wouldn't doubt it, especially if they feel like Trump could take it.
So
Hey, Day Day. Hey, LP.
Hey, Sade. Hey, LP.
I got a lot of feelings about it. I don't think it's fair
What's
for
your
what
opinion of Kamala? Let me ask you that. What do you think of her?
listen, I'm pro black woman president. I'm just put that out there. But aside from that, I want to talk about how I feel like they did Joe. Joe did not want to step down. I feel like he was bullied out of his position. And I also feel like it was disrespectful what they did to him, because if this was the route that they were going to take, I second the emotion that it should have been done a long time ago.
Yes.
This should not be happening right now. It should not be happening right now. Um, and now, we just I don't know. I'm scared. I'm gonna
What do
be
you think?
honest with
Okay,
you.
so how do you feel, or in what ways do you feel like they bullied him out of his position
Because
or running?
Saturday night before I went to bed, Joe said that in order for him to come off the ticket, it would have to be because of a health condition. So going into Saturday night, before I went to bed, that man was not planning on stepping down. So when
Mm-hmm.
my mom came to me on Sunday talking about he stepped down, I'm like, what? And I know he didn't get no type of medical diagnosis that night. You know what I'm saying? That he's just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. They forced that man, at least that's my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
to come off of that ticket.
Hey, Jo. Welcome.
Hey, Jo. Okay, so he was adamant he was not gonna jump out.
Right.
Okay, and that's the feeling that I felt like. all of us were feeling like that. Okay, Joe's, they trying to come at him, but he's sticking it out.
Joe's in it to win it.
We teased him
Right.
a little bit, said he had his energy drink, when he was sounding real vigorous, and then we were like, oh hell, didn't nobody give Joe his Ensure, his energy drink? Hey, Shamika. So it's
Hey,
like,
Shamika.
And then Candy, not only that, they kept talking about these polls, nobody's gonna vote for him, da 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 da. But everything that I saw, people were like, we don't care if Joe's in hospice or on a ventilator, we're still gonna vote for him. So I feel like there was an agenda to get him out.
but you know what? I'm gonna put this up. Let me put LP's comment up. Let me put LP's comment up. LP said, I believe he is sick, but wanted to stay, but put country first. And you know what? I kind of think that that's what happened at the end. I don't think he was bullied out. Because to be honest with you, I'm looking at a man that for months has been going and declining physically. I think maybe he did want to stay. Of course, because who wants the apparent decline of your health to be shown in front of the world in these snippets and things like that we're catching, from him. But I honestly think that him and probably his wife made that decision that this is getting to be too much for Joe. Go Butter, what do you think? What's your opinion on all this? Go Butter, you there?
Girl, I was busy talking. Okay. Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
How y'all doing? In chat, everybody in the chat. This is frustrating when I get to thinking about it. I've literally had to turn off everything that just comes on, text messages that you're just getting from all this nonsense going on. It's frustrating. But I really kind of seen this coming, but I didn't know that it was really going to flip that way. Um, it it just seems so staged, you know. I mean, they didn't want anybody else to participate in the debate, but them to. They wanted to see. They wanted the people to see, and I feel like he was pressured to step down. It's his legacy. It's his legacy to finish. He doesn't want to finish in that state, whereas he had to take a knee, Um, I could have seen him going all the way to the end. And if that were to be the case, then Carmela Harris, she would be next in line to step up automatically. And this country is not ready for that. It is not. This country's not ready for that. A woman of color, um, and a woman.
Welcome to the
Period.
stage, LP.
I don't feel
Welcome,
like they're
LP.
ready for it.
Hey.
Hey, LP. So that's my take on it. So it was staged, and we just got to see what their outcomes is. Because did you all hear that Biden didn't endorse her?
No, I heard that he did.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I heard that he did also.
Barack. I meant to say Barack. He didn't endorse her.
He hasn't
Mm.
endorsed
Yes,
her yet.
he did
No,
endorse. He did
He
endorse
has
her.
not endorsed her yet.
not that I've seen so
I
far.
believe he made a statement and said this is a new situation that we're going through and that we're going to navigate through
Yeah,
it.
he made that yesterday.
He did. One thing I think that we have to consider is that Democrats have never played the politics game well. The Republicans are masters at this.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had to do something different. I made calls about 7 months ago to Newsom's office, to
Hmm.
Pelosi's office, to Crockett's office, and said, we've got to do different. We need a split ticket because this gridlock is going to cause us Perel at the end of the day by having a title head as a president, but a Congress and a House of Representatives that cannot come together, and it's going to hold the country hostage. And I said, Newsom, if people understand and really pay attention, Newsom's been running a shadow campaign at every Republican debate, at every Republican thing. He sat in the press room and constantly fact checked all of these Republicans all the way through. But because
Oh man, I
Newsom
wish
had,
we could get him.
yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, LP, but I wish he would. I wish there was a way we could get him. I think he could do such good things. I
he
really
is,
do.
I think he's going to, but I think the thing about it is that our country is dumb. We are under propaganda and we are not used to change, and things scare us too easily, and we are very emotional. And so when you know all these facts about the world, you can't just change things, the establishment. So I think they moved in silence. And I think quietly they've been building basically a shadow campaign, so that it could be respectful in the way that we transition this power. Because if Joe said that he was sick, if President Joe Biden said that he was sick, they would have used that, and that would have taken over the airwaves. And then everyone would have either not voted. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like they had to kind of keep it in silence, because every time we show our hand, we always get caught because they are able to spin it. And so I just think that this was us kind of playing a Republican handbook on keep silent, do a pop out, at the DNC, do it in enough time. I think we're going to have problems when it comes to changing over the ballots, but they can put that same type of money in write-in ballots. Um, but I think that they had to do this because there was no other way to explain. Kamala is not even, people don't like her. So even, so it had to happen kind of this way because of how we have shown ourselves to be so emotional in all of these decisions.
Do you think she has the political chops to do this?
Absolutely. She's a
You
badass.
think she has the chops to be president?
Let me tell you
You
just
don't?
this. Let me just say
Don't?
this. I don't
I
like
think
Kamala.
so.
I don't like
AP,
I don't like the fact that she kept quiet, during this whole entire time. But Kamala is a beast as a
Yes,
prosecutor.
yes.
And the way she went after those senators and fucking read them for filth was like they are scared of her. And so anybody who the Republicans are scared of is who I want. They're scared of Kamala. They're scared of Newsom.
hello.
They're scared of Pelosi. Those are the people, they are scared of certain individuals that are able to dissect the legalities in such a way. Because a lot of people on that committee that are MAGA, not the Republicans, but the MAGA, are corrupt. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's time that we consider a split ticket. If we were to have a split ticket with Hogan, who did Maryland really, really well, he had gained the hearts of everyone because he put in programs for people. I think having a Democrat at the head and a Republican as a VP, and then us supporting and be willing to support 8 years, and then moving it to a Republican head with a Democratic VP, that's another 8 years. We'll have 16 years where we can learn from our mistakes and fix this government and fix all these loopholes. We can put term limits in. We can do a lot of things if we have a willing Congress. But this gridlock is never going to work for the people. And these people have insulated themselves as being political career politicians. So they've shaped government. So we have to change all of that. We need young people to get into the race. We need independence. We need everybody to have a voice at the table. And I think if they took that approach to be inclusive, then we would actually have America, and America to work from. And so Kamala is not a fan favorite, but she knows how to go after criminals. And Trump is a criminal.
Yeah, I want to see her. Let me take us a quick minute. Welcome, T. But I want to know, this
AP.
is what I was going to ask you guys, and I want everybody to chime in. And thank you so much for your input on, on this whole situation, LP. Do you guys think that women voters are going to rally behind Kamala?
I do.
I absolutely do. Yep.
Yep.
She was on a Zoom call with
Yeah, she was on.
40,000 women last night.
Yes, yes,
40,000.
yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
do
You
think,
think
and
they won't?
That was an
time.
important Zoom call. Like that was powerful of that Zoom call. I'm like,
Very
wow.
powerful.
Well, and because they understand the Democrats, they're not really that slow. They understand they have to form a level of coalitions. That's what Carmela she needs to form. And how does she do that? Through women, through
And
support. Yeah,
and
I mean,
remember when she
that
did what she did?
background. I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. You know, she has a strong background. I had to do some research on her. And I know that I haven't seen her doing much. It doesn't seem like she did a lot, but she has. She's head over Congress. So she has. And she's done a lot of different things over the last 4 years that I'm happy to see what they have to say about her. I've been catching some of her background and things like that. She's in a good place in terms of I feel like she could handle it, but she definitely needs the right support. Those Democrats, they're going to make
I
good
hope she gets
reforms.
it because I don't know you guys. Like I feel like if we take it, we're gonna take it just because America knows we don't have any other options and we have to give it to her. But I don't know. I think it was a lot of women that didn't support Hillary Clinton, who
Yep.
to me has more of a proven track record. I'm not saying Kamala hasn't done things, but politically, I feel like
Hillary won
Hillary
the
should have
popular
won.
vote.
She should
Hillary
have
won
won.
the popular vote.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
She
she
won
did.
the popular vote.
But
But
Hillary is complicit with Bill's lifestyle
And I
and
think that's what was
Epstein.
her
Yeah,
downfall.
that we
Yes.
yeah,
can't go that way in that
Hmm.
cover up.
Yeah.
But one thing about Kamala is pull up the Kavanaugh hearing. Kamala asked him a very simple question. She says, "Can you please cite me any law that is written to go and to discuss and have a hand in men's anatomy?" That was her
Yes.
question.
Yes.
And he says, "I don't know what you're speaking about." She said, okay, because we're talking about reproductive rights, and these are men making decisions on women's bodies. She said,
Mhm.
"But show me a place, since you're about to be a Supreme Court, where there's ever been a ruling or decision made on men's anatomy."
I
That
like
in
that.
itself is the winning situation to get
Yeah.
women, because men are in control. We're about to have a Supreme Court that could, that is Brown versus Wade. Like they talk about our reproductive, they're controlling our birth control, whether we have it, whether we don't. All of these different things are made by men. And so that alone, I think, could be one of her leading situations because it was so powerful. And he says, "No, I can't think of anything." She's like, "Exactly."
And
Because
what
it's
other
not.
country did that? China. Their country did that to the women over there. They're
Absolutely.
completely ran under one governance. So, that's exactly what happened with them. In a lot of cultures, the woman don't get to decide whether she can have a baby or not. The man decides that in a lot of different countries. So if she that has to be a strong point that she makes. I agree. So
And
she
mhm,
wrote a lot of those bills. She fought on those debate floors. Trump hasn't did that. She was down throwing up dukes. Way back for all different type of things, just like
predators, human trafficking, child trafficking, she's put predators in jail. And
Yeah, I learned that from doing my research because before yesterday, I'm like, I don't even know what the VP did. But after I believe Cassandra's show, I'm like, let me do my research. So when I did my research, I'm like, oh, she was working in the back, which that is the VP role anyway. Now the other VPs, yes, we did see different. And with America, we don't like to see different. You know what I mean? Like we're into this one whole thing. I mean, she's going to get my vote, but I have to do my research also to be confident to give her my vote.
Yeah, I think that we should really also open it up to be inclusive and open up for a Republican VP. I think that even if it is to replace, I mean, Kamala Newsom, I think, could be a winning ticket if we have to be able to appease and respect the vote of 14 million people that voted for Biden. And by default, she was the VP. But ideally, I think we should start to really look at being more inclusive because it's Congress where our rights are being executed.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-mm. Well, you know what, you guys, I was like I said, I didn't even want to think about it yesterday. I was just so thrown off. But then, do you guys know that it has been uh, 60 years? Because I was like, what kind of nonsense is going on here? But it has been 60 years since a president has stepped down and stated that they weren't going to run for reelection. This hasn't happened in 60 years. The last time that it happened was with Lyndon. I think this is not putting it in here, but I always grew up with him, Lyndon B. Johnson. So he stepped down just because at that time things were going on with Vietnam, and that he stated that he wouldn't seek another term. And he made his announcement that he wasn't going to run after just one single state primary had taken place. So he did, even 60 years ago, he had sense enough to do it in plenty of time.
Mm. Uh-huh.
But this has not happened in 60 years, you guys.
But we
I think
need a
if
change
Joe
because this
didn't
isn't
catch
working.
COVID, I think if Joe didn't catch COVID this recent time, maybe this was just the last strike of his health, and he had to make an executive health decision. That's what I believe.
Right. Poor
You
guy.
know, I'm willing to give him that. We may never know. I think, dude, now we all value privacy and things like that, people's health, privacy. We have laws in effect about it, for God's sake. But do you guys think, as the president, we're owed an explanation, a real explanation?
Absolutely. And I think he's going to give it to us, but he has to handle this business because if they find any fault in the fact that he was withholding his stuff, they're going to use it and weaponize it. You can't
Yes.
tell these people anything. So the only way we can do it is to pop out. That's the only way we can work with them. Because if we give them lead time to know where the direction we're going in, they're going to use that. They use Hunter Biden, who's not even an official, someone's child. You understand what I'm saying? To
Yeah,
take a
throwing him
man.
up in the debate. Yeah, I heard that. I'm
So
like,
that's what I'm saying. It's like they find anything. So this is a group you cannot give any, like you can't give them
any
anything.
type of way.
Yeah, they'll weaponize it. And I think once everything is set, the legalities are set, he will come to the people and say, this is what was going on. But it won't affect, you understand what I'm saying? It won't affect the election. Right now, for him just to tell us is an opportunity to give them talking points.
Yeah. Well, and I think Biden or Trump is really like his whole PR team got so much on Carmela that I think that these upcoming commercials and things that we're going to see about her, they're going to try their best to use it to damage her character. When she's really, when you start looking at all the things that she has done and the reason behind it, they've all done it too.
Now, you guys know they go through the vetting process. Do y'all think there's anything that's gonna come hitting Kamala hard and heavy? Because you know
She
all this
slept with a
time.
lot of people in college. I mean, a few, like she slept with, I mean, if that's what we want to judge and shame her for that. But
And
she,
that already came out too. You know that,
yeah,
right?
so and
But
that's been how she dated, she dated celebrities
she
and
did.
she
So
dated
that's not
people with
gonna be
power.
though.
But I don't see that as a negative thing. They're gonna try to make us see that as a situation, but she also got her law degree and utilized it You understand? And she also did other things. It's just like, Fannie Willis. People don't like, I felt like that was going to be a problem because she used to date when she was just in law school. Like, remember, look at these law school girls. They'll date people in the street,
Hmm.
you know. And
Oh yeah.
she dated a YSL member who was murdered.
Okay.
And she had used to have his picture in her office as a reminder, as part of her motivation. And so one of the gentlemen that she represented, that was an informant that was part of YSL, was saying she was my attorney. So she knew all of the inside dealings of YSL because she was my attorney.
Hmm.
And he was like, and I was I was an informant. He's been on the internet and he talks about it all the time. But he's like, she's very familiar. So this is something personal for her, which I think is not right. I don't think that that's fair, because it doesn't give them due process in the fact that she really does have a vengeance against them, you know. But it's a reality, and Trump was able to pay for that information. Like, they know that the fact of her affair and a private investigator, that was not by YSL, that was by Trump, because he's trying to discredit her because she's also his attorney, for what's going on with him. So it's like, if you can discredit her and this black woman and take her totally out the game, then if YSL by default can move forward, but it's really about Trump. And so I think that when we look at God and we look at a religious, and in a religious sense, everybody that is going against him is African American, a black woman, or a black man.
Hmm.
And so for him, he just rejected the debate. He's not going to do the debate in September. So he doesn't want, his biggest threat and his biggest fear is a black woman. And so what we have to be prepared for is the propaganda that's going to come, the
Mhm.
divisiveness that's going to come to distract us, and he's
Oh, there's
very
gonna be a
desperate.
lot. And even being the mixed race woman she is, she's gonna come up. You're gonna get even way more scrutiny about the thing, the whole 9 yards. And he loves to be a wisecracker, Trump. So I can only imagine the things that he's getting ready to say about this black woman.
Mhm.
They called Fannie Willis in court gorilla pussy, gorilla grip.
You see, you see how there's someone
They
in a
went to her
courtroom. They don't
text. That's what I'm saying. They're going to try to humiliate her. And if we allow a white, privileged man who is a criminal, a rapist, a trafficker, like all of these things, it's disgusting. And it's just like, we have to just understand this is a war against us. It's a war against our womb. They tried to make the movie The Handmaid's Tale to warn people, these
That's the name
cultists.
of it, y'all. LP, I
Yeah,
was trying to think of this the other day, and
they've
I
been
could not
trying to
think of
tell
the
us.
name.
Yeah.
And it's been coming to pass, hasn't it? If you
It,
watch that show, you know this stuff is coming to pass.
and
What
that's what
show
they're
is
trying
it?
to do, because it's about preservation.
Mhm.
And they said, the census said by 2030, we're at 2024. By 2030, America's going to be brown. That is a white man's worst fear. So the
Oh,
only thing
yeah.
he can do is to hold on to power and position. And that's throughout government. And so all of these brown and black people coming in, like, we have to understand our value. We have to understand our power, and we are their worst fear. I mean, if we look at American history, they said, do not give our worst fear is an educated black person, because they will know how to utilize. And that's what we have to do. We have to utilize the same laws, information that they've weaponized to propagate us out of our position. We now have a power to take it all back. And that is what they are fearful of. Because if she gets into office, or, if she gets into office, if Newsom, who's known to be bipartisan, gets into the office, they're going to fill up the Supreme Court. It'll be 12 justices. And
I'm rooting
so
for her since she's the one that we have to go with. But man, please, 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 Gavin Newsom, step up. Come on, you can do this. I want him to step up, and I want her to have someone strong, that really can, you know, do something good. And he seems to do a lot of good things in California.
He does. Well, part and the other part of it is that they're going to really go after because our system, Trump was necessary because he proved that our system is corrupt and it's broken. And we never had to think about all of these laws. Like, in order for you to be a legislator in your town, like Candy, let's say, for instance, you wanted to run for something,
Hmm.
you could make up any law. You could say, if tissue paper, if you buy 3 or 4 rolls of tissue paper, during a pandemic, that's a violation of the law, that will be a violation. You can go down to and submit it on the floor. Whoever's there is going to vote, and that can go on your books. So when you look at a lot of these politicians, they have created bogus ass legislation. So they'll look at your record like, oh, well, he passed 15 things, but look at the 15 things he passed. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just about numbers. It's like that's what legitimizes you. Um, I've passed 20 pieces of legislation, in my district. Well, this was about like nothing. Like all of this, if you actually look, and that is why Congress is corrupt, because they insulate themselves with so much just insignificant stuff, that government can't really work, and it's like a cushy job. You have a nice paycheck, you have health care, you get paid for the rest of your life, you get all of these
Hmm.
perks and benefits for being a politician. It should not be a desirable position. It's for the people. You understand what I'm saying? They should have not be able to get stocks. They should not be able to have term limits. You should only be in government for 8 years. After 8 years, you're going to become corrupt. You know what I'm saying? But you should be able to do, or is it, or 6 to 8 years. You shouldn't be able to do government more than that time
Yeah,
because
in
it's
any
going
capacity.
That
Yeah,
in
in
sounds
any
any
capacity.
capacity.
I
yeah.
think with the Supreme Court, 20 years, because then you're able to see something, but not lifetime. So we have a lot of government and legislation we have to overturn and change. We have to go back to our Constitution because the founding fathers, and then let's look at that. Ben Franklin. They're now doing documentaries on Ben Franklin was a straight up serial killer, finding 2,000 bones in children's bodies, like in his backyard. Like, we're going to find out a lot about the people who created this document.
Ooh,
And I'm just saying, yeah, he was a serial killer. And a lot of, like, we have to just understand, but it's young people, it's you, it's me, it's all of these people that are the government. We can run for office. We
And
can
that's
put our
why I
ideas
don't
on the
like
floor.
what they're doing, because it's not just their choice, it's our choice too. So I
Right.
feel like that they're just dropping things in our lap like they're doing. And, we're all just like, well, what now? And when you sit back and look at them, you're like, well, what are you all going to do? And meanwhile, they're scrambling behind doors. They're literally scrambling. They're probably not sleeping or anything to try and figure this out. Or they
hmm,
already have the plan. They already have a plan, and and their plan is to get whomever we're going to see pop up on these ballots, and we're going to find out. That's going to be it, and that's just how it's going to go, because they're going to make sure it happens. That's the concerning part about it.
okay. You guys, let me get to some of these comments. Definitely want to make the chat feel part of this conversation. So Gold Digger says, yes, we have been visibly seeing somewhat more of his decline. I don't know if it's his health, but since he's been publicly speaking more, it has been concerning. It certainly has been.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Let me see. I think T's talking about Kamala. She does, but she about to come out the woodworks. Don't believe, just watch. Okay. Look. I well at this point, since I feel like I don't have any other option, I'm welcoming being pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised.
Watch
Okay.
her at the trials for the Supreme. Watch her with Kavanaugh. Pull up when she went against, and she breaks them, dissects them in such a way. It's like we're watching court. She is able to do that. She is a prosecutor. She's a
I'm gonna search
prosecutor.
for that. I'm gonna
And
search for it.
yeah, I feel like too, she could handle Trump. I don't think that she's going to fold under him. He might get a couple jabs in there, but
That's what,
you know,
because that's all he's gonna do. He's gonna come and try to take jabs, and I wouldn't even put it past him to be overtly, not covert, but
yeah,
overtly racist when
yes.
he's up there talking and dealing with her and the things he said. I'm man, I'm gonna be tuned in. Look, we might have to watch it live on Twitch, you guys. Bap
Yeah.
says he better free his son. Trump the punk would free his son. He would. He would. He definitely would. Gold Digger says again, child, the presidency is becoming a life or death position. You don't know if you'll come out alive anymore. Presidents lose their life serving the country. Ooh, yes.
Mhm.
Meek said, amazingly, Meek said, I heard she's done a lot, but the news doesn't highlight what Kamala really does in the communities. And in response to Amazingly Meek, T says, why would we hear about it? She's black. They don't want to give us an inch to do good. That's right. Sharon is calling, I think, Trump a convicted felon. Babs says, I got my passport ready. I'm not going to vote for any of them. I'm a vote, but look, we did talk about it last week as well. You guys get your passports ready. Anything can happen. And look, I want you to be able to stand right beside me saying, yes, here's my passport. I'm seeking political asylum because my country has lost their goddamn mind. And I got to get out
But
of here.
then be ready for a dictatorship because understand we are under global attack and all of these little
Oh,
beautiful countries are being attacked. So I don't know. We need regulation and we need governance.
I gotta be able to get. I've got to be able to get anywhere quickly, LP, while the getting's good. I gotta narrow my countries down. Okay, who got the best going on over here, where I can take my black self over here and be feel relatively safe. You know, look, I'm watching videos. You would be surprised how many YouTube channels there are with black folks traveling all over the world, not having any issues. No place is perfect, but when the place that you can't even come to rely on, okay, what is happening today or tomorrow, it just can get real crazy. It just makes you want to check out. It does. i
Don't
love
you
I,
want
I
to?
love my country, but god dang.
But I
Right.
think we need to just encourage young people to organize and to honestly be part of. Look at there's so many. It's just the ignorance. It's the distraction. They kept us distracted, and I think that the youth, when I look at Stacey Abrams and I saw those young people mobilize and I saw those young people sit up there and have a voice and we are not our ancestors and young she had the dope boys, the street boys, like she had everybody out there because she was like, how is it that Georgia has this type of demographic, but it is a Republican state with this minority? And she was like, it's because like we're traumatized, you know what I'm saying? But we don't believe we have power. We don't believe it. And the thing about it is they have programmed us to truly, truly believe it because if they told us and groomed into us, we do, then what do you think this world would look like? And so we just have to unplug from the matrix, understand who we are, look at the data. The data says it's going to be a brown country in 6 years. Look at all this mixing of races, and all of these things like immigration, all that stuff. We can change all of that by one thing that we could actually do, which is to defund and not defund, but to get rid of the NRA. The NRA is the reason why they just did a whole report on Congress about the direct association between the NRA and immigration and why these people are running out of their countries. They
Hmm.
said that the United States makes 74% of all weapons and they sell them to the cartel and the criminals.
They sell them to any damn body. They sell
That's what
them
I'm
to
saying. So that's
anybody that with a couple dollars can get them a AR-15 and just
exactly.
wreak havoc on somebody's
There
life.
lies the problem. So if you think that a family and a farmer and a country is going to sit there and be sitting ducks while these people have switches and all type of artillery and just shoot them up, that they're going to stay there? No, they're going to come over here. So America can't start a fire and then also try to call the ambulance and to put the same fire out. We're not even putting out the same fire. Like we have to get rid of the NRA. Other countries that do not have guns in that aspect have a low percentage of the type of crime that we have. And we have to admit, like, we have to change a lot of things. Like, churches shouldn't be able to be tax free. Like, there's a lot of
Oh my.
government that has to be done. And I think the fact of it is that we had to have a shakeup. We had to see where the problems lie, and we have to stop telling people, well, I'm not into politics. Do you go outside and get your trash? You know what I'm saying? Like, we do live in a hole. You need services. Try not having a government and not having services. China the other day said that 47 banks just shut down. You think they have a democracy that they could fight? It's a
Yeah.
dictatorship.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we have to understand that the Western world was made to be a democracy. Other countries chose to have one leader, you
And
know,
I think
and
that's what Trump is after.
well, he is. He says
Yeah.
it. He says, I admire Putin.
Yeah.
He says, I don't want all these people I need to discuss what I want to do. You just do it. And what we have to understand is Russia, if you look at the documentary of Putin and KGB and who he actually was as a young man, when the USSR separated, that was like defeat because they said we're stronger together. Ukraine was part of Russia
Yep.
in that aspect. But Ukraine says you guys want to run your country crazy as hell. You want to put oligarchs, which are basically billionaires in industry. I'm an oligarch of oil. I'm an oligarch of this. You know, they're industries and they're billionaires and they don't have any governance. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a bunch of rich people making decisions for everyone else. And so when Putin saw that the Ukraine had separated from them, he took it as a life mission because he says, in order for us to be a number one or leading dom, we need both. We need unification. And if they're not going to willingly do it, they want to do it the Western world and have a democracy and worry about the people. Like they're two different thoughts, of mind going on and so forth. And it's like, they're looking at the numbers. So it's like, okay, you're not going to get with us. Well, then we're going to just dominate you and put people in fear and take over and get other countries, to participate in this genocide that we want to do since you don't want to, go this way. But oligarchs run the country. That's what Trump wants to do. He wants to put billionaires in heads of industry, to make the decisions for us. And it's a small group of people, but the one thing that people don't understand, like about what we talk about, like secret societies and Illuminati and all these types of, masonry and all that kind of stuff. One of the first rules is that you can't do this in secrecy. You have to hide in plain sight. People have to invite you into this destruction. We don't go just terrorizing people and forcing this onto you. You have to be invited by us. And so that's why Trump says, do we not remember he had Muslims and people in cages at the airports?
Yeah.
And what people don't know is what he did is when he put and locked all those people at the airports and Muslims were saying no, and he shut down the airlines from all of these countries. People don't even know he was meeting with Putin. So it's like I put a fire here. Y'all all look over here because he does something so egregious. But the point of it is we learn to accept that. We
Yeah,
learn
and there's a
to
segment of people that like that too and get off on
absolutely
that.
they do, and that's what I'm saying. And so be it. But the point of it is that we have to understand what is happening, and it's like humanity. Like this man is like the Antichrist, really. He is subjected himself to evil on every level. You understand? And so that is where he lies. It's about classism, it's about good versus evil. And I'm not saying that the Democrats have not done their dirt and everything else, but his intentions for people, Bill Gates, like the billionaires, like Bill, we just have to learn our history. And they're trying to take it away. They don't want hard books. They want digital history that they can take and edit and
Oh yeah, they want to delete
delete, you
things
know.
out and not have certain parts of history taken out, like they never have. It's like it's so
But
ridiculous.
we're allowing it. Do you understand that we're voting it in and
Yeah,
we're
well,
allowing
yeah,
it?
they're getting permission from us, whether you know
Yes,
what you're signing, not signing, voting for, not voting for.
to oppress us.
Um.
Absolutely.
hmm
Because if
Hey,
we don't show up, then only a small group vote, right? So that small group gets it.
that's hey Cassandra. Hey Katina. So
Hey
look,
Cassandra, hey Katina.
hey ladies, welcome on in. So okay, let's go. What? Okay, we're about to get out of here in a second, but what do you want to say to people that are undecided right now and what they need to be doing right now in the position that we are in as the American people? What I'm going to say, I said it to start, and honestly, I mean, we're going to have, I already said we're going to be having lots of political shows coming up, so we don't have to do everything at once. But just in light of this, what I would say to everybody that's wondering, what are we gonna do? I'm not gonna vote. I think you need to just calm down. You need to think about the choices that we have. And I think what I would just implore everyone to do is to think about what is going to happen if you don't vote the right way. Even if you don't think that she's right. If you don't vote for her, what are you opening yourself up for? Because if you choose not to vote and say, I'm just not going to vote, you actually are voting for Trump. Because if you split things up in all these directions, you can't concentrate on who you need to concentrate on, and you can't get in who you need to get in to keep him out. And it's just my advice, just watch, look, listen, but be open and realize that your vote is going to matter. So saying you're not going to vote is not an option if you care about the state of affairs that the world or America is in. So that's all I'm going to say for today. Okay, next, Coco.
I got nothing.
Coco got nothing. LP.
I would just say that we need to, if as much as we talk about Krishan and all of these dumbass people that are keeping us distracted,
They do nothing for us.
that do nothing for us in society but keep us distracted, is that we need to YouTube and start doing history on our history. We need to look at what Project 2025 is. We
Hmm.
need to see who are the writers of 2025 and then look at the documentaries done on those people about their overall plan, because it's always been a minority that has ruled the majority. And I would just ask people to look. There is a game on YouTube. It's called the werewolf theory, where a German psychiatrist had created a game that says it's a social experiment that says we're going to put four werewolves in a group of 100 people. And it is our belief that when you have educated werewolves who have access to information, know things behind the scenes, know what's going on, that four people will be able to live and get rid of most of the villagers and be able to take over as the majority. And what they were doing is they were showing the psychology of people, like the wolf in the sheep in sheep's clothing, that you have a lot more followers. And they realized that they could manipulate a group of people over here. They could do it, tell another lie to another group of people and get them to turn on each other while they sit back because they hold all the information and keep all of these people distracted. And every time the werewolf won, the werewolves won. One may be taken out by the villagers because it was just, but it was a theory about, what we are seeing happen.
Hey, cat eyes.
I didn't hear you.
Nope. Hey, Cat Eyes, how are you?
Oh, hey, cat eyes. And so, I think that we just need to look at history. We need to look at everybody in the agenda and understand that his purpose is to be a dictator. And he wants to be able to rewrite the laws so that he can stay in power as long as he wants to stay in power. He said it before. So believe him when he says what he wants to do. And he will get a group of people to write that legislation in, and we will lose our government. He said for day one, he wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Why would anyone want to get rid of the Department of Education?
Yeah.
So just look at and see what it is for what it is. And that's my suggestion is do your
Okay.
research.
All right.
That's
All
crazy.
right.
Get rid
Go
of the
Butter.
Department of Education.
Oh
Good Lord.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all in that
And
project
privatize
2020
healthcare.
was in the project 2025. That's some of all that's in there. How they're trying to dismantle everything. Go Butter. What are your parting words? What do you want people to start thinking about in light of the new decision and changing candidates that we have right now?
Well, I agree with LP. Do your research. I've been doing some, and when you look at these political leaders, um, like Putin himself, just go back and look at his documentary, how old he started out, um, different organizations that he became a part of, helped with and helped break down so that he can get to where he's at. Same with the president of China, how he started out very young, was a poor guy. Family was in the political world, and so he learned a lot behind the scenes. He just he wasn't interested in some of the things that we see going across, like with our country. Um, but his thought process was a lot deeper than that. And so I say that we're in this crucial time, where, like Candy said, we are working off of a certain amount of time here. And it's going to go rather fast. Everything is moving fast right now. So take some time and take a break from it. Um, for me, that's what I'm going to do. Schedule some time where I just put my mind, my thoughts, my energy on something else positive, um, and then come back to it, catch up. But just be aware of the distractions. Um, Such as, I don't know, is Diddy case going to come out in September? They're going to throw him on trial to capture a lot of people's attention for this, that, and the other. I mean, what is going to come up that is going to take you away from focusing on what we have unfolding in front of
Mm-hmm.
us? Because, you know I have grandchildren, and this can potentially affect them in 10 years, with, even next year, in a year or two, with the Department of Education being um, governed by our government. Can you imagine them and I'm sorry, running the Department of Education? Look how they're handling things right now. So where does that leave our children? Even these 20 and 30-year olds. We're Department of Education. What is that I don't even like the thoughts of thinking that you can't call the Department of Education to take care of a situation, or that just has its own pot of gold for.
Yes, and what is their intention in doing that? To privatize it and make everyone pay?
No,
Well,
it's to
it's
make
going to
people
be
dumb and to be able to be the ruler of it.
yep.
Because charter schools, you can mold people's minds. If you give people access to things, they'll be able to think themselves out. We can. Do you understand? With social media, it worked against them because people started finding out everything. And
Mhm.
so right now they have to cut off like the systems. You understand? And so they have to cut off the systems. But just going back to what you were saying in regards to look at all these dictators, this is a global war.
It
Mm-hmm.
This
is.
is not a national election. It is who is going to be able to sit with global leaders who are
Yep.
trying to align themselves against us because
It,
we
And
have
Trump has been
played
trying to
it.
do that
it,
from the second he tipped
That
his
is,
toe
yeah.
into
he
office.
has,
That's
and
his.
he can just.
He's been so interested in pandering to Russia that you could barely
Yes.
tend to
And
anything
China.
going on in the United
No,
States.
but you know what? A leader, the leader that wants to him. I'm just gonna say Trump. Anytime he can stand up there 1,000 times and tell us, if I get into office, the war will stop. Ukraine will be done. What I'm trying to speak rational here. But what does that mean? How much power do you feel like you have that you're gonna, go into this country, Russia, sit down with Putin, in that, go to China, in that.
Because he's going to give them all the money and the funding to kill everyone.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna he a
That's what he's
person.
going to do is help
But
aid
he's
him
the words
into a genocide.
that can sit down with them because he want to do what they're doing. In other words,
Exactly. Exactly. He
you know
believes in
what I mean. So it's
yeah.
just disgusting to me that we have to pick up on this. We have to do our research to know that this is his plan. This is his plan, is to do exactly what he see them doing. It's impressive to him.
And what he says he's going to do. He
Yes.
says it.
He says it. He says it. I mean, he says that I can do this because only one that if you're standing with them, there's something that you have in common because that's what you want to do. You want to be
But
just like
mm,
that.
but I
And
think that that's where the distraction comes. None of these people who like him know any of this is going on.
oh, I think they all
He
know.
keeps he keeps them dumb. No,
I
he
agree
had a
with
I
you
think
because
that
his
he had a
base is
speech that
dumb.
says I like
the
uneducated people.
what's that?
Like
So he can be the smartest one in the room. That's
Oh
what that's
yeah,
what all dumb people with money want to do. They want
yes.
so they
That's
seem like they
exactly.
actually know something.
Hmm.
so his cabinet, remember when he appointed
He
everyone?
feels that way. He feels like he
Yeah.
can just he wants to take over this country exactly the same way that they have it. And I'm not feeling that. Oh,
Just think about when he made Ben Carson these gifted hands, the first African American successful heart transplant. Like he put him into the head of urban and development. That's the type he took
Mm,
a person who's totally qualified in healthcare, but moves him over into an area that he knows nothing about.
wow. Yeah.
Does that even on the visual and the optics? No one's title even made sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's like taking me out of the healthcare field and putting me straight into being a auto mechanic. Right? You can't make this stuff up.
mm-mm. Okay, so I'm gonna see. I just came across a few comments that he's already making, you guys. So let me read these on our way out the door. It says, "Wow, just watching the fake news, and they're doing their very best to turn the worst president in the history of our country into a brilliant and heroic leader. He was heroic because he quit, and to turn dumb as a rock Kamala Harris from a totally failed and insignificant vice president into a future great president. No, it just doesn't work that way." Here he goes again. "Joe Biden will go down as the worst president in the history of the United States. Kamala, our horrible, incompetent border czar, will be worse." Here he goes again. This is all today, you guys. "Somebody please explain to Representative James Clyburn, not the brightest bulb in the house, that I'm beating Biden Harris prosecutors like deranged Jack Smith, whose case against me in Florida, the biggest of them all, according to the radical left lunatics, was just thrown out as being unconstitutional. Now it is my time to sue them for illegally breaking into and raiding Mar-Largo. All these Biden Harris cases against me are a weaponization of justice against their political opponent, me. Strictly third world country, MAGA 2024.
Now
And
read Adolf Hitler and see the similarities across the board.
oh,
Putin don't
without
talk.
it all. He says crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now look what he's done to our country with millions of people coming across our border, totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and record numbers of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly. Make America great again. And we're gonna get into more of this tomorrow, you guys, when we talk. But you guys, thanks for coming through. It has definitely been an insightful and enlightening conversation with you guys, with you ladies. So thank you everybody for all your comments here on the panel, in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through. And look, honestly, we probably gonna, we gotta dig deep. And anybody we can get listen to us, and get them thinking and talking about it as well, and not putting the conversation to the back end. We definitely have to get that going for the duration and beyond. So look, see you guys tomorrow. We're probably gonna be at the regular time. About 4:40. Holly, what you guys think of this evening time?
This is perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Y'all like this later evening time? Okay, okay.
In bed, everyone's yeah.
Yeah, everybody could be settled down and dinner's over with and all that type of stuff. But we'll see. I'll see what we'll do for tomorrow. Maybe we'll do another one like this tomorrow around this time. But
Can you do it this time because I'll be on a plane around 5 tomorrow.
okay, so this time works good for you, Coco. You'll be back home.
Yeah.
And safe travels, Coco.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Safe
All right.
travels.
Safe
Thank
travels.
you,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Candy.
It's been a
Bye.
wonderful show. Thank you guys for coming through, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Have your notifications
Bye.
on.
Oh.
And I forgot to tell you, and I forgot to tell y'all, you if you didn't hit the like button on your way in, please hit it on your way out. And if you have a moment or two to spare, leave a quick little comment. Hey,
Hey,
Audra.
Miss
Um,
Audra.
so
Hey,
we
Miss
don't know what to do,
Audra.
Audra, but we'll
Hey.
see you tomorrow's show. But hit it and drop a quick comment because it definitely helps you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming through and sharing your thoughts and opinions. We appreciate everything. See you tomorrow, you guys. Bye.
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 Bye.